All the 20-some programs that buy anything, I sign everything basically twice. I approve the purchase order when it's created, and then when we cut the checks, I sign it again. So I'm the one that's signing it twice. Every other director signs it one time, but I do see everything twice. So.
And how do you think an automated process like that is going to help? Because you're still going to be approving everything, but how is an automated process going to help with that versus the paper end of it?
Just the time associated with it. I know with my staff, the time that they spend tracking things down, because as a pile of papers go somewhere to be approved, inevitably one of them gets pulled out for a question. And once that's pulled out, it kind of gets misplaced. Although there's other paperwork that goes with it, now it's not matched up. So I think just the time savings of the staff walking things around, the delays in waiting for someone to approve it, and the approval process itself. And then that doesn't even count the automatic transfer of that data into our accounting software, so that we don't have to worry about keying that in again, reading people's handwriting, keystroke errors, all that kind of thing. Initially, when I was told that we were going down to see the demonstration and to meet with CME, the information that was given to me of how we were going to use it, I just couldn't see how it would work, how it would be a benefit for the limited things that were discussed. Once we sat down, and I had a little bit of experience with other database programs in past lives, and I could kind of see how something like this could be very beneficial. And I'm all for going paperless, so I see that as a big benefit. But a lot of our funding sources, the way we have to buy things, everything has to be approved and documented prior to purchase. That creates all that paperwork. With this system, we don't have all that paperwork now. We still need to have copies and things scanned to support for audit and program reviews, but this can all be downloaded, and I still have the data without printing the paper. Currently, with our process for purchase orders and purchasing such, and payables in general, we still create the documents now, and then we scan them at the end to save them for future purposes. But with this system, there's not a whole lot that's going to have to be printed and scanned. It's already going to be done, so that's countless hours there just alone standing at the machine scanning those papers after the fact. So time-wise, I mean, in true dollars, I'm not going to see dollars, but it's going to allow us to do more with the same staff levels that we have. Anytime anybody would want to purchase, they would have to get a paper form and start to fill it out, including program numbers and account numbers. That starts the problem because not everybody is aware of their program number, because there are so many different funding sources that are associated, and then the associated account numbers that go with that program number. This system would streamline that. Once they fill out that paper, they give it to their supervisor. They'd send it to their supervisor wherever they may be. It might be a different location, so they would have to transport that paper document with their live signature on it instead of scanning and things now. Their supervisor would then review it, ask any questions of it, and then they would sign off, and then that would need remitted to the accounting department, which might be in another building. So all those papers are moving miles at sometimes for approval. Once the accounting department gets it, they would place the order with the vendor, start the process of actually purchasing it. When the item is received, we receive it. We then receive the invoice, match it to the purchase order, and process that through payables. But again, there's more levels of approval at that stage also. Currently, we're just finishing with our fiscal year audit for last year, and the process we have, the auditors request things, and they want scanned documents. They don't want paper copies anymore. They're able to attach these documents right into their audit software for their support and backup. So they love the idea of the scanned documents that we're doing. Right, if we're able to fully utilize this Podio software, the estimates that we did come up with are true hard costs. There's so many behind the scene things for staff walking around looking for things that were pulled out of the stack for approval, downtime of the staff doing that, lost items that we have to regenerate. When something's pulled for a question, it might disappear. If you're going to another location, it might get lost, and and then it's never purchased, number one, so now you've lost that too. To put a hard dollar to it, I think the 14,000 is very, very conservative. I mean, I see that truly triple annually. You know, and again, those are only looking at the purchasing side of things. Well, once we start to tie in the inventory aspect, the training, travel requests, you know, and maintenance requests, and anything else that I think other staff will see once we get it in place, and the light bulb will go off, and they'll say, "Boy, I could utilize that to track this," which will save more time. I just think it's going to be an ever developing process. Yeah, I think there'll be a big savings in cost as we talked that we can identify for those remote locations that print out their purchase orders or their mileage forms or timesheets. They have to save those forms and get them to us. Now sometimes they get lost, they get torn, they get coffee spilled on them. They come here, they're not readable, and then we have to rekey all that stuff. There's a lot of time with my department rekeying all their information to get it into our system, our accounting system, so that we can process it. I think there'll be a huge savings because those people, when they're bringing their information here, it's their time. We're paying them an hourly rate. It's mileage, you know, reimbursements that way, and it's just lost time at work. So again, I think we'll be able to do more with the staff that we have and serve more clients. I think if we can accomplish everything with the purchasing process, which is purchase orders, request for payments, authorization for expenses, timesheets, mileage reimbursements, inventory. Inventory is another big one for us. We have a lot of inventory items to try to track and maintain with good records on that. Building maintenance requests, you know, that's something that when someone needs something repaired or fixed, once they submit it, it's kind of gone. They have no idea where it went. If it was in the system like this, they would be able to review it again and see the status of that maintenance request. Saves them more time of calling and sending another one to the maintenance department to say, hey, did you get my request or did it get lost in transit? So those are the big things for me.
And things like the maintenance request, that's just like all hands to email right now, where people email people and emails back and forth, and
It's paper.
it's paper.
There's a
It's all
document
paper.
that they fill out. The person that say you need something hung in your office, you'd get a maintenance request, you'd fill it out with the program description, everything, what needs done, sign it. Then it has to go to your supervisor, because we have over 200 staff and the maintenance department will be getting over 200 maintenance requests. So this way it funnels through the supervisor to make sure that it's an item that needs done, and then if it is, they'll approve it and then they'll pass that paper to the maintenance department for review. Once the supervisor of maintenance gets it, then he looks at it, prioritizes it, and then he gives it to his staff to carry out. So there's still a lot of passing the paper, but there's no way to track it once that document leaves your hand. A good example would be our mileage reimbursements. We have over 20 locations throughout our county. So those staff that need to submit those on a timely basis to get reimbursed, complete them, fill them out, have to get them to their supervisor. So they might be driving them to their supervisor if their supervisor is not on site. If they are on site, then the supervisor has to drive it to the main office. So now we're paying wages for that person to bring it to the main office. We're paying mileage expense, round trip for that person to bring it here and then go back. And it just seems like a waste. I think once we are able to get the software in and get it functioning and utilize it how I perceive we'll be able to utilize it, we're very connected with the other agencies in our state, our home state, which there's over 40 other agencies alone, that we go to trainings and seminars and we can show them how this worked for us and saved us a lot of time. And we're also connected across the country with the other agencies. We do go to national conventions and talk and try to share ideas, because all of us are always constantly hit with budget reductions, and which means staff reductions. But if you have something like this that's going to save a ton of staff time, now you can do more with what you have. So I think just spreading the word within our state and across the country, I think it'll be an easy sell, and it'll be something that can be easily transformed and inserted into another agency, whether it's a community action agency or another nonprofit or even for-profit agencies will be able to benefit from this.